Hi there. So it's a Wednesday, which means Wellbeing Wednesday, and I'd like to share not just the theme of December, but I'd like to share a very valuable tip that may help you not feel like you collapse at the end of the year when you finally get a chance to take some time off, as I hope that you will. Knowing that for some of us, especially perhaps essential workers and frontline workers, may not be able to take as much time off to rest as we want and need. But I'd like to help you to not collapse into it and rather, as I'm trying to do, bow out gracefully from 2020 and embrace 2021 with a sense of, I don't know, excitement or optimism that I haven't felt in a while. And that's not going to happen on its own, right? We need to cultivate that. So, the theme for December that I'm going to be posting about and chatting, and the masterclass that I'm doing on the 9th of December is all about creating your own effervescent reality around well being. And this is realistic optimism. I'm not talking about faking it, but I'm talking about how can we find pleasure and find joy in being healthy and well despite what's going on around us. And yes, I am doing this live video for the first time from my bedroom. Why would I be doing that? Well, I like my bedroom. But it's also the first tip that I wanted to share with you was around if you want to sustain effervescence. Now, I cannot think of the word effervescence and not think of champagne. Many of you will know my heritage lies in the Champagne region of France. My parents are from Champagne, so I've constantly grown up with champagne around me. And I have a signature workshop, which I am going to use as a framework for the masterclass on the 9th of December around the champagne making process as a metaphor for well-being. Now, there's many steps in the champagne making process. One of the steps is called la prise de mousse. So it's the capturing of the sparkle. It's the magic of what makes champagne champagne, and perhaps different, not perhaps, and definitely different to other sparkling wines that may be carbonated. It's where the second fermentation takes place in the bottle, and the alchemy and the magic of that process allows the little bubbles to form so that when you pop open the cork, voila, ça mousse. There's lots of sparkling effervescence and little bubbles. Now, what about you? Are you feeling effervescent, bubbly, sparkly, fizzy? Or are you, like me, honest confession, because we need to have permission to be human, right? It's okay not to be okay. I attended another, thank you, Action for Happiness. I mean, your series of webinars have got me through lockdown. And last night was with Tal Ben Shahar, iconic individual and speaker, so practical. I would definitely look for the presentation. In fact, I'll put a link beneath this video because it will be available by Action for Happiness on their YouTube channel. And he spoke about how to stay happy and joyful despite what's going on. In fact, he spoke about an interesting concept of PTSD, so post-traumatic stress disorder, versus post-traumatic growth, PTG. And we are twice as likely to have PTG, so growth after a traumatic event, such as COVID and everything else that's come with it, if we have the awareness that this is possible and if there are the right conditions. However, I digress. I want to come back to the bedroom. Because one of the conditions to helping you stay effervescent and feel a sense of joie de vivre when it is quite stressful out there and it's hard to create certainty and there's a huge amount of uncertainty and turmoil is to allow yourself to recover and rest. So when we go to the gym, for instance, or when we exercise, we know that athletes or any of us that do exercise, you can't go to the gym every single day and lift heavy weights Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because you're likely to get an injury. The same as for running or any sport. If you train too hard every single day, you won't get stronger. In fact, you may get weaker because you may injure yourself. So the rest of us, corporate, SME, leadership, athletes, we need to recover. And it's not just physical recovery, it's also emotional recovery. And I was feeling engaged but exhausted, dedicated but really dead tired, especially after the last international trip that I took. I came back and I was on my edges of exhaustion. And I started losing that effervescence and sparkle. Like I was feeling compassion fatigue versus compassion satisfaction, which is not good for somebody. who's talking about holistic well-being, right? So what have I done? Well, the one thing I've done over the past 3 weeks, and it has helped so much. I mean, I'm not faking the sense of joie de vivre and happiness that I feel that I haven't felt in a long time. And the one thing, and I'll share more throughout the month and at the masterclass. However, today I'm in my bedroom because when you wake up in the morning, you're possibly in bed, if that's where you choose to sleep. And that is a very magical time. From when you come into consciousness to when you allow the outside world in a way that it may cause you to react or release adrenaline or cortisol or change your state. And that means if you wake up and reach for your phone and start answering WhatsApps or emails or going on to social media or media, you have no idea or control over what's going to come into your space, and it may then change how you feel. So how long was your time this morning that you gifted yourself? I've been filming some videos for my online wellbeing clubhouse today, and the theme has been around rest and sleep. And I use the seasons as an analogy or a framework. And so spring, summer, autumn, winter. And spring is this first part of the day, this precious time. And why it's so precious is because we have more control over our mornings generally than we do the rest of the day. We have no idea what kind of demands and fires are going to come along that we have to put out and what's going to be expected of us. But if you can start in the morning, and what I shared in the video that I filmed for the clubhouse was using the 3 intelligence centers, so your head, your heart, and your gut. Could you do something for one of those centers in the morning and gift yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, maybe even an hour? And that's what I've been doing, is I have been giving myself longer, lingering mornings. So what that has done is given me a sense of control and certainty, which is something that COVID definitely has taken away, right? And all the collateral stuff that's come with it. So if you gain control of your morning, it helps you feel, it does for me, like I have more control over my day. When I don't have control of my morning, when it's been like 2 minutes and I've engaged with WhatsApps and things have come in and it's like an hour later and I'm like, who am I? Like, I don't even know how I woke up, let alone whether I had dreams last night or whether alone I connected with my soul by looking out the window for a few moments or expressing gratitude or determining what I wanted from the day. Yeah. So I would like to give you permission to be human. It's okay not to be okay. You don't need to collapse into the end of the year. You can bow out gracefully. Let's do this together. Let's start now. So let's take this month as we head into the festive season. And I know it's not easy, and we're not going to be able to potentially have the kind of gatherings that we'd want and our hearts would desire, but we can have a lot. We can have a sense of control and certainty over our well-being. We can create a little bit of joie de vivre and more moments of positivity that can give us hope. And hope matters. So allow me and join me through December as we explore this theme of effervescence and realistic optimism, and how we can help one another, hold ourselves accountable and support each other to create little moments of bubbles and effervescence and capture the sparkle, get that prise de mousse, so that when we are potentially sharing in champagne, if that's your thing, that it's a genuine happiness that we can cultivate with or without a glass in our hands. In fact, most importantly, to be able to cultivate it without a drink in your hands, for sure. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about the idea of cultivating more of a magical time in the morning, whether this is something that you do, which is something that you'd like to do, if you'd like more ideas, because I have lots of those. I don't want to overwhelm, and I'm coming into 10 minutes, and I want to keep this video less than that, because I know that if you're busy, you're not going to watch it. Look out for the link to the Action for Happiness talk and the link to my masterclass, which you can register for, and I'd love to see you there. Sante.